Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of the gaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. If this is your first time visiting, let me point out that on tonight's show, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Atlantic Chase from GMT Games. But first, we will talk about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So if you are watching live, hang out, kick back, relax, make yourselves comfortable. We're not performing rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. We're just hanging out, talking about tabletop gaming. If you are watching after the fact, there will be timestamps, so you can actually jump right ahead to the unboxing if that's what you're here for, and you don't want to check out what's with the latest tabletop gaming news of the day. If you are a longtime visitor, thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. I always appreciate people taking some time out of their busy lives to hang out with this goofball, so always appreciated. And of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the dispatch airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my review for By the Vote, which was supposed to be up this morning and did not go up this morning. So I will actually post this after the show tonight. So there's that. And I enjoyed it. I'll, ruin the surprise. I was actually kind of surprised. Well, I wasn't like totally surprised, but it was sort of like, here's a political game. And I'm like, oh God, no. Which I'm sure a lot of people were like that. Oh, no, no politics, please, no politics. But it's actually really not political in any way. It's just you're bidding, trying to win states. That's basically all that's going on. All right. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available. It's not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So let's see. Who do we got cooking here in chat? The Madman was first out the gate hanging out. Viper Dave has joined us. Clint Gibson is here. Doug Roberts is with us once again. So is Beat Cafe and W Forge. A Grade A is chiming in saying hello to everybody too. So far, off and running with chat tonight. Very, very cool. Tonight is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. This is live stream 636. Kind of cool. All right, got lots of news tonight. We've got Atlantic Chase to dive into as well, to check out. Hopefully we keep our fingers crossed that we don't have a drop like we did last night, which was bizarre. I was doing the show for 20 minutes, not realizing that the stream had dropped. I thought, wow, it is super, super quiet in chat. So far it looks like we are okay. Dropped a handful of frames, but we're all right. But last night, that was a YouTube thing. That was not me. I had nothing to do with that. That was YouTube 100% just dropping the feed, and that was it. It just ended the stream. So because, as most of you know, if you watch the show from time to time, or if you watch regularly, it's not unusual to see a little hiccup in the internet. So what'll happen is usually a little disconnection. It might be about 30 seconds, could be 60 seconds. But what'll happen is YouTube still combines those parts into one video. Now, last night, it just went, that was it. That was gone. And the thing is, we had like 50 people, just over 50 people watching. And of course, all those views, gone. Thankfully, quite a few people did hang out to see the second shot at it. But still, we had quite a few people watching live. All right, so Jeff Moore has joined us. Good to see you, Jeff. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us tonight. Let's jump on into the news because, as I mentioned, I've got a good mixture of tabletop gaming news tonight. Coming this August from Brotherwise Games is The Dragon Prince Battle Charged. Here's what I know. Fight for the future of Zandia in the Dragon Prince Battle Charged from Brotherwise Games. This fast-paced tactical miniatures game is set in the world of Wonderstorm's Emmy Award-winning Netflix original series. Say that 5 times fast. For every fan of this epic series and anyone who loves great tabletop games, Battle Charged is a must-play. Inspired by the Emmy Award-winning is what it should say, animated series The Dragon Prince Battle Charged is a card-based tactical miniatures game. 2 teams, each consisting of 2 to 3 heroes, faced off in fast-paced duels on one of 6 battle maps. Choose from 8 iconic characters to build your team. Each hero has their own premium miniature, action deck, and unique playstyle. Battle Charge uses a unique energy charging system in which every character has a different fighting style. Rayla, the agile moon shadow elf, gains energy when she flips in and out of combat. Calum builds sky magic combos to send his opponents flying. Soren, the crown guard? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never watched this show. Charges up to defend his allies when they're attacked. The base game includes 8 characters: Rayla, Ezrin, Calum, Amaya, Janai, Viren, Claudia. What? So they throw an actual regular name in there? And Soren. Each is represented by a high-quality miniature, a hero card, and a 16-card deck. The Dragon Prince Battle Charged is for 2 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, plays in 15 to 30 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $39.95 when it arrives in August. I have got to be honest, I have not seen The Dragon Prince on Netflix. I don't watch that much anime anymore. I don't know. I think, if I remember right, I think The Dragon Prince was actually made by, what is it? Wonderstorm? I think it's Wonderstorm Productions or something like that. I think that was made specifically for Netflix, I think. So, all right. Anyway, so WForge is asking chat, what would they say is the ratio percentage between their interest in tabletop role-playing games and board games? So I would say that quite a few people are probably, I don't know, maybe not 50-50. But from my understanding, I think the vast majority of our regulars in chat actually play both. They play board games as well as role-playing games. So Jeff Moore says they fell for the Facebook ad blitz and pre-ordered the Tales of Zandia role-playing game, which is the Dragon Prince using the Cortex system. what I gotta ask, what's going on with the Cortex system? Because is Margaret Weiss Games even still around? I don't think so. I don't know. I have no idea. I have to admit, back in the day when they were doing the Marvel role playing game, they were pretty good. It was that was a pretty decent system. Superheroes are tough. Superheroes are tough to get right in role playing games. All right, moving right along, we've got another kind of anime inspired sort of game here because hitting stores next month from Strange Machine Games is Valiant Wars. Here's the scoop. The kingdom of Valiance has collapsed. The Valiant throne sits empty. See, what they need is they need Jack Valance to come in and rule the country. I think that would probably work out pretty well. Rebels, mercenaries, and tyrants have overrun the lands of this once prosperous kingdom. As one of the few remaining lords, it's your duty to curb the chaos and establish order. Yes, with an iron fist. Valiant Wars is an aggressive press your luck deck builder where you must fight to capture lands of the once great kingdom. Your rivals will resort to trickery and sabotage in their attempts to bring down your forces. Be warned. As you assemble larger armies and conquer more territory, you'll be haunted by dark visions of a world in ruins. Too many of these dark omens and withdrawal becomes necessary. Step up and claim the Valiant throne. Valiant Wars is fast, furious, with no two games alike. How far are you willing to press the boundaries of fate? In Valiant Wars, players will draw cards simultaneously, one card at a time from their decks, building strength and riches with a side of sabotage. But if you draw too many cards, you risk losing everything to the dark omens. Valiant Wars is for 2 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays in around 30 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $26.95 when it arrives in stores in April. Well. I have to admit, Strange Machine Games did Attack on the SDF-1, the Robotech game. And I want to say I got a review copy of that. I think it was through Japanime Games. And I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it, and it was pretty good. So, I mean, it wasn't for everybody. You needed, if you were a big Robotech fan, especially the Macross story arc, then you would like it. If you weren't too keen on it, maybe not. But the thing that I think sounds interesting with this game is it is a deck building game. I like deck builders, but it's a push your luck. So I like that. I like the dark omens aspect to this game. I'm sure I'll never get to see it, but I thought this sounded kind of interesting. So I figured I would share it with you. All right. So just kind of throwing in the percentages by everybody. Oh, so Cam Banks brought the Cortex system back. Yeah, because I do know he's the guy. It was his system. He's the creator of it. Gosh, now I'm trying to remember. Didn't they have like a Leverage role-playing game? It was a role-playing game based on that TV show Leverage. And I think it was actually a pretty well-received role-playing game. I think maybe more people were interested in the role-playing game than the TV show. No, I know that's not the case, but still. So the Madman says it is 50-50 for him. Actual play ends up being 90% role-playing games, 10% board games due to his gaming group's interests. Yes, and I would take a guess out of that 10%, a good amount of that is solitaire gaming as far as board games. So W Forge says it's 75% role-playing games, 25% board games. Flaming Herons arrived in chat. Very cool. Flaming Heron saying that they like the art style of Valiant Wars. To me, it's okay. It's what I tend to like say, like lazy manga or lazy anime kind of style. It looks okay, but it's not like it's not that inspiring. But like I said, the game actually sounds kind of cool. All right, so it's Wednesday. We're already going to be looking at Atlantic Chase from GMT Games in just a moment. But let's talk about a new title that's up for pre-order over at the GMT Games website. It's on the P500, and I am going to mispronounce lots of words here. So get ready. Here's the latest on Vijayanagara, the Deccan empires of medieval India, 1290 to 1398. Gathering at the monastery of Ringeri in Karnataka, the Sangama brothers have anticipated the ebb of Delhi's authority in the Deccan and the crumbling of the Hoysala kingdom. From these ashes will rise Vijayanagara, city of victory, which will ascend to take its place among the great empires of the medieval world. Meanwhile, the Bahmani, Bahmani emirs have established their own kingdom, one which will rival Vijayanagara in strength and culture for decades to come. And in the mountains to the northwest, Mongol hordes, hey, I can at least pronounce that, are gathering, their eyes fixed upon Delhi from above. Vijayanagara, the Deccan empires of medieval India, 1290 to 1398, depicts the epic century-long rise and fall of medieval kingdoms in India over two dynastic periods. The game is also for 1 to 3 players. Vijayanagara is the first game in the new Irregular Conflict series. With gameplay inspired by GMT's coin system, players will take on the asymmetrical roles of the Delhi Sultanate, the Bahmani Kingdom, and the Vijayanagara Empire. Man, I'm telling you. Navigating event cards and unique action menus as they contest to write themselves into medieval Indian history. Players will rally local emirs and rajas to their cause, construct epic temples, forts, and kasbahs, and battle for supremacy over the Deccan Plateau. Vijayanagara is intended for players new to asymmetric war games and veteran coin players alike. The factions have distinct capabilities, and each is faced with different strategic decisions, offering a very high degree of replayability. The game is streamlined. All player actions and most rules are visible on the table on player aids and cards. Gameplay in turn order is organized around a deck of unique event cards. With each new card, factions have the option to carry out the event or to select from faction-specific commands and special decrees. Commands such as the conscription of new troops, governing in tributary provinces, and migration to begin life anew, and decrees ranging from demanding tribute, conspiring with Delhi's governors to betray the Sultan, and forming new alliances with minor regional powers. Once again, this game is for 1 to 3 players, ages 14 and up. It's going to play in around 90 minutes. Well. Right now, you can reserve a copy from the P500 list for $54. The eventual MSRP is expected to be $79. I got to say, this is very interesting. This sounds very interesting. I have listened to some ancient history audiobooks. I've listened to quite a few, actually. And I've actually listened to some that's like the medieval period in that. And I've actually found the history of India to be pretty interesting. They were pretty warlike people then too. So it's like, yeah. So this almost sounds like it's coin light, I guess we would say. So if the coin games are a little too hefty for you, although I always say Cuba Libre is a perfect coin game that's relatively lightweight. Sounds like this could be pretty cool. pretty cool. And $54? That's a pretty smoking deal. All right, so Mr. Eddie T is joining us in chat. Melwinius from York is here as well. I think I've said hello to everybody as far as who's hanging out with us in chat. Oh, KC Board Gamers is here. All right, cool. We got a good number of people. So the madman's like, hello to Sarah too, if she's out there somewhere. Yes, floating around, lurking in the background. Needed that. As you can tell, I got kind of dry towards the end. So I had to point out, okay, so this does look pretty cool. We've warmed up a little bit in the Chicago area, and I don't know what it is about the Duct Tape Studios, but it is a breeding ground for ladybugs. Every year, it's insane. I'm sure we will see some videos where a ladybug lands on a game. I gotta have to escort the ladybug off the game. Already today, I have had 3 ladybugs on my keyboard, and of course, I'm like, oh. I was like, because I don't want to squish him. So yes, it was kind of funny. I was a little behind being ready for the show because I was basically shoveling ladybugs around my table here and my keyboard. So Sarah D says, shh. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where Sarah's at. I don't think she's here. I don't know. She's not lurking. All right. Anyway, let's talk about some role-playing game news. Next week is going to be Symborum week here at the Dispatch. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But Free League Publishing has released a new adventure book for Symborum. Here's the announcement. The adventure is the 5th in the Chronicle of the Throne of Thorns campaign and is set to launch later this year. Each adventure in the campaign can be played standalone or interlinked, depending on the player's choice, as they are all part of the same epic saga. Alberator, taking a stab at that pronunciation there, the Haunted Waste also includes support for players to create their own adventures in the Lost Lands of the South and in the war-torn Umbria. The new adventure is now available for pre-order in the Free League web shop. You can get it alone. You can also get it as part of a big bundle as well. The pre-order grants you a beta PDF of Alberator, the Haunted Waste, as soon as it's ready. It's probably going to be late Q2. Also, a pre-order exclusive digital art book will be available to you that will not be available to anybody else. So right now, you can pre-order the hardcover and PDF together for $42.59 at the Free League Publishing website. So strangely enough, this was advertised as going to carry an MSRP of $39.99. But when I go to the website, it says $42.59. So I will reach out to my PR connection over at Free League and mention that it's like, hey, so I noticed you're indicating it's $39.99. Any color, $99.99. It's supposed to be $39.99, but it's showing up as $42.59. As far as the adventure itself, I understand it's moving into a different area of the world. So it's not necessarily right there by the forest of Davakar. So sounds kind of interesting. Sounds kind of cool. And I love the artwork. So if you notice that art piece that it's showing right now, it's almost like there's a spider thing in the mist that's like coming to him. So Sarah says, since Eddie T has already sold me out, if the ladybugs are actually those beetles, I recently read that they hate the smell of lemon. So cleaning with lemon-based cleaners might drive them off. Oh, I did not know that. So, yeah, I mean, ladybugs are beetles. So they're always like, oh, it's supposed to be good luck if one lands on you. It's like, well, yeah, until you have like 10 of them. You're like, all right, okay, already, come on. And of course, they're attracted to the lights. So Melwinia says, Jeff said interlinked. Now I'm thinking about Blade Runner 2049. What's it like to hold the hand of someone you love? Interlinked. I couldn't believe that movie was a flop because I thought that movie was excellent. I don't know. And it actually all made sense. It wasn't like some of the Christopher Nolan stuff where you're like, wait a second. Like Interstellar. I think Interstellar is good. I just don't think it's great. A lot of people love that movie. I'm sort of like, eh. All right, my final news piece. There's a new 5e adventure book from Sly Flourish. It has arrived in print and PDF. And here's the dope on Fantastic Adventures, Ruins of the Grendel Route. Grendel Route, eh? So are the wolves in this game called Beowulfs? From the author of the adamantine best-selling book, Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. 10 underground adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular fantasy role-playing game, set within a ruin-filled mountain torn apart by the mysterious Grendel Route. For 1,000 years, an ancient entity has been trapped in the heart of a mountain, formed from rock not of this world. Over eons, creatures both monstrous and intelligent have explored the endless tunnels, caverns, and chambers of Blackclaw, answering the call of the mysterious entity buried within it. Over long centuries, hundreds of lairs, cities, keeps, prisons, and tombs were established within the mountain. But even those centuries of exploration did not uncover all its secrets. Then, 2 centuries ago, the entity now known as the Grendel Route awoke. Indestructible black spires shot through the rock of the mountain like the roots of a deadly weed, shattering civilizations, burying cities, and exposing caverns long lost. Today, adventurers residing in Deep Delver's Enclave explore these lost ruins once again. They seek fellow adventurers brave enough to answer the call of Blackclaw and to seek the mysteries of the Grendel Route. Ruins of the Grendel Route is a book of 10 short, easy-to-run adventures for the 5th edition of, you guessed it, the world's most popular fantasy role-playing game. Designed for characters of 1st to 5th level, these adventures take place in the caverns, chambers, tunnels, and ruins of the mountain known as Blackclaw, within which lurks, you guessed it, the Grendel Route, a strange and otherworldly sentience. Ruins of the Grendel Route focuses on the sense of mystery and wonder that comes from exploring ancient ruins. The central hub of these adventures, Deep Delver's Enclave, is a frontier outpost overlooking the ruined city of Shadowreach, set deep within the mountain. In Deep Delver's Enclave, adventurers and explorers recount tales of their explorations, trade treasure and artifacts, and enjoy their shared love of uncovering the mysteries of the mountain. These 10 adventures can be run independently as single-session games of roughly 2 to 4 hours, or they can be tied together as part of a larger campaign. 5 of the adventures can be combined together into a 5-session mini-campaign that focuses on the strange consciousness lying at the center of the mysterious mountain. The 170-page book is available through DriveThruRPG as a hardcover with PDF for $39.99, softcover with PDF for $29.99, or in PDF alone for $14.99. Kind of cool. This looks pretty interesting. Sly Flourish is a pretty popular author. His real name is Sean McSomething, I think. I know it's not really Sly Flourish. But as you can see, I'm sharing some images and looks pretty good. Looks pretty impressive. So, and if you're just getting in PDF, 174 pages, $14.99, that's a pretty good deal. Nice. All right. So that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Please keep in mind that the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you do find yourself going over to say, oh, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So once again, there seems to be all these little cat hairs floating around down here tonight. You know, I like when the weather warms up. Obviously, I'm not a big cold weather fan. But the problem is, it's like suddenly it becomes a completely different area down here. It's weird. So Gary Clarkson has joined us in chat. Very, very cool. So Mel Winius is pointing out that, yes, they liked Blade Runner 2049. Of course, not on par with the original, but pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was a very good movie. Yeah, so Clint is pointing out Gary's not late. He's early. Yeah, he's early for tomorrow's show is what's going on. Sorry, hopping into chat for tomorrow's show. All right. Hey. So let's talk a little. There we go. There's one of the ladybugs. You may have caught it on camera. What I'm waiting to see one of these days is a bug either land on the camera lens here or the camera lens that's what I do the overhead shot. It's coming. It's gonna come. It's coming one of these days. So Gary says the Army has kept him busy today. So, well, good to have you popping in, even if you're late. You're in time for the unboxing. But before I do that, I do want to mention a few things. First of all, if you have interest in winning my copy of the alternate art edition of Dungeons and Dragons, Candlekeep Mysteries, you've got until this Sunday, which is March 28th, to check out my review to find out how to get into the running in order to win this exact copy right here. I will be announcing the winner on Monday's show. Tomorrow, we are going to take a first look at Starfinder Alien Archive number 4. So keep an eye peeled on that. That's on tomorrow's show. We're not going to look at everything in here, but we are going to get a better feel for some of the different creatures and things like that are in this book. A Grady says maybe it's a sturge. I'm hoping it's not a sturge. No, it's a ladybug. I can see it's actually on one of my bigger lights over here. So Grade A is asking if I'm getting the starter set for City of Mist. No. I don't really. Now, granted, tomorrow I'll have a Modifius Entertainment news piece. I don't know what happened. Modifius was like all over me back when they first started out, as far as like getting news out. And I mean, they send PDFs. They send me PDFs to review, but it's very scattershot. I mean, you know, they'll come out with some stuff and I don't get anything. And then they'll have they'll send me a PDF of a supplement to a game I've never seen the core book for. So yeah, very rarely do I have an opportunity to review physical items from Modifius Entertainment. And I think part of it is because it's over in England, and there are companies out there that are, you know, out of England that they don't really like shipping review copies to the US. They're fine with, you know, shipping stuff to distributors and retailers and stuff like that. And I understand that. I can understand. They probably don't feel that they get enough bang for the buck because, of course, shipping from England is pretty pricey. That's why I got to admit, you know, Free League Publishing, they're always asking me, is there anything you want? Is there anything you want to take a peek at? Probably going to do some interviews with some of the folks working on various different projects with Free League. I will point out, as of right now, the team working on the One Ring are too busy to do any interviews, but we might be able to do something about that in the near future as well. So Eddie is asking if there's going to be a contest for basic fantasy stuff, or is that totally blown now? It's probably totally blown. Got to be honest. I think it's probably totally blown. Simply because, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. It's tough. I just don't get. I do contests. People don't care. It doesn't bring people in. Just like I've said before, I'll see contests of like a PDF or something that they're giving away, or like a set of dice. I see this a lot on Twitter, that somebody's giving away a set of dice, and it's like, oh, hey, we need you to retweet this and like this and be a follower. And then you'll see like it's got like 500 retweets for a lousy set of dice. And then I'll be like, hey, I'm going to give away this book. All you got to do is, be a follower, like this and retweet this. And I'm lucky if I can get 10 people. And I float around like 6,800 followers on Twitter all the time. Like, I don't get it. I have no idea. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So Kabuki Kid has joined us. It's been a while since we saw Double K. So it's good to see Double K in the house. She says, I'm in it. I'm in for a contest, but if it involves Twitter, I'm out. I can understand that. It's kind of funny because on Twitter, I sit there all the time and it's like, no, I'm not interested in that topic. I'm not interested in that topic. I'm not interested in that topic. And I'll be damned. It's like I just keep seeing the same shit over and over again after I've said, no, I don't want to see that topic. I do not care about people streaming Minecraft. I don't know who the dream is. I don't know what the dream is. It's basically a nightmare. And it kind of irritates me because I'll be like, I'll see something and it's like, okay, what is that? Right. And then you click on it. It's like some bullshit about the dreams server for Minecraft. And it's like, seriously. And it's got like 1,100 tweets. And I'm like, so that's what makes things trending? Of the billions of people who are on Twitter, 1,100 tweets get something trending? Get out of here. So it's like I sit there all the time and, I see people are like, oh, if something's trending, they'll like throw that they'll hashtag it into their tweets that have nothing to do with that topic. Yeah. I got to say, Twitter's a serious shit show. It really is. Eddie says, I hate Twitter. Gary says that they follow Star Wars and me on Twitter. Star Wars is much more entertaining, I can tell you that. So Grady says, I have never read a Minecraft tweet. Oh, trust me, I don't actually click on it because I want to. A lot of times I click on it because it's sort of like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, brother. All right. So Kabuki Kid says, yeah, bogus tags is lameness. Yeah, it's super lame. And I've had people tell me, oh, you know what? You want to get more people like following you and stuff like that. You need to do that. And I'm like, no. I would never do that. So Gary says, I respond on Twitter. Star Wars never does. Possible. All right. Anyway. So, as I mentioned, later on tonight, you'll be able to check out my review of By the Vote from Koozie Games. Tomorrow, my review of Funfair from Good Games Publishing will be up as well. So if you're curious about Funfair, I'll give you the straight dope on that. All right. Also, see, I got stuff stacked all over the place. Let me see if I can slide it over here. Because we got to keep in mind, Atlantic Chase is sitting like right in the middle of this table. So, anyway, next week, we are going to have Symborum Week. And I was going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and stick with the War Game Wednesday and unbox and take a first look at Dominant Species Marine. But I think we'll just move that to Thursday. One week, we do something a little different. So, on Monday's show, we're going to take a look at the Advanced Player's Guide for Symborum. On Tuesday, we're going to look at the Game Master's Guide for Symborum. And then on Wednesday, we will be taking a peek at the Monster Codex for, you guessed it, Symborum. And on each show, I will be giving away a PDF copy. This is going to come from Free League Publishing of the Symborum starter set. And on Wednesday's show, I will actually be giving away a physical copy of the Symborum starter set, compliments of Free League Publishing. Cool deal. So Jacob Getty, welcome, Jacob. I think this might be a first time popping in on the show. Jacob says, I come here for Jeff's award-winning reviews. I don't know of any awards I've won. I mean, master reviewer. Yeah, I try. That's all I can tell you is I try. All right, so if you are watching live, we are going to jump on into the unboxing and first look at Atlantic Chase from GMT Games in just a second. But if you are watching after the fact, this is the point where you're going to see a skippable ad. So enjoy that. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So as I mentioned, I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Atlantic Chase, which is from my friends over at GMT Games. It's designed by Jeremy White. Artwork is provided also, as far as I understand, by Jeremy White. The game is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. Not sure about that. Does carry an MSRP of $69. And it is available now. So let's swing on over to the other camera because pa-pa-dum! Here we have Atlantic Chase, the Kriegsmarine against the home fleet, 1939 to 1942. All right, let's flip this on over here. I'm not going to read everything from the back of the box, but we'll tackle a little bit of this. Atlantic Chase depicts the war in the North Sea, the Norwegian Sea, and the North Atlantic during the crucial period from 1939 to 1942. It is not a game about U-boats. Its focus is on the surface fleets of Britain's Royal Navy and Germany's Kriegsmarine. The Kriegsmarine's small but potent fleet of surface vessels, especially, is... That's not correct grammar. I think it's supposed to be its. Says especially is modern battle cruisers and battleships. That's why I stopped for a second. I'm like, am I reading that right? Am I looking at that right? It's like, I am. A typo on the back of the box. Gotta hate when you see that. Anyway, the Kriegsmarine's small but potent fleet of surface vessels, especially its modern battle cruisers and battleships, had a chance to tip the balance and force more of the Royal Navy's assets home. Had German assets been employed differently, had chance encounters happened differently, Britain may have found herself at Germany's mercy. This game explores that balance of power. Cool. Cool. So it's for 1 or 2 players. Well, plays in 1 to 3 hours. So the 120 minutes that I was informed of is not correct. So that's for the scenarios. Play a campaign in 4 to 12 hours. It's a 5 on the complexity. So that's about middle of the pack as far as GMT goes. Although I say it all the time, I think GMT kind of short sells their complexity. So if they say it's a 4, it's really a 5 on a scale of 1 to 9. And it is solitaire suitability 9 because it's for 1 or 2 players. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off. And as I mentioned previously, I am a big fan of naval games. We used to play a hell of a lot of Fletcher Pratt's Naval War Game. In fact, a couple of years ago, I introduced it to my nephew and his friends. So yes, I know it's not really a naval board game, but still. All right, so we have a rule book. Ooh, pretty thick rule book. We have a tutorial. Seems like we got a few books in here. I was going to say this box has a good amount of heft to it. As you can see, we opened it up. There's absolutely no empty space in here. So I have an advanced battle rules. We have solitaire scenarios. We have 2-player scenarios. Okay, it looks like we've got some. These are like boards. These are just stock, card stock. But then we have a mounted map as well. So these might just be kind of like zoomed in for certain scenarios. All right, so what we will do here is we're going to page through. We're going to take a look. We're going to zip through this pretty quick. So because these are a lot of books. So we are not going to spend too much time looking at. I mean, we're going to page through them. We're not really going to discuss a whole lot about the various different books here. So first off, we've got the rule book. And this is kind of an interesting sort of table of contents here, I would say. That's kind of cool. So Gary Clarkson says they like the Great War at Sea series. Yes, I always thought that was a pretty good series too. Funny enough, I used to actually pick up the games because I liked their counters for the various different ships. We used to use those in miniature games. So, all right, so we get an introduction. We got getting started. Core concepts, the game board. See, remember I had mentioned yesterday that I thought for some reason there's like wooden blocks and stuff in this. So, and it looks like there is. It's like you're plotting fleet movements and things like that. So we have components. So we've got the British and the Germans. So I'm wondering, when you're playing solitaire, do you have to play the British or do you have to play the Germans, or are you able to play either side? So we have different leaders, convoys, components for advanced battle rules. Well, I will point out that the font is awfully large, which is good in this book so far. So maybe GMT's realizing that, how much of their audience is older. So Gary Clarkson also mentions that the counters were great. So you have trajectory, time lapse, intel markers, interruption, contact, evasive maneuvers. Then we have different actions. Atlantic Chase is played as a series of actions. An action is what a player does during their turn. They have a turn, and thus to perform an action, a player must have the initiative. Okay. So we have airstrikes, completion. Looks like it brings your ships into port. Engage. I'm sure we know what that means. Naval search. Passes. Reorganization. Signals. Says it allows the active player to transform an enemy trajectory into a task force station. We've got stealth. Trajectory again. I thought we had trajectory. We got common modifiers. So we got air support, contact, evasive maneuvers. Common results. Does it have like a battle board? Yeah, it looks like there's kind of like a battle board for this. Okay. So Flaming Heron says, my family would drive me to distraction, teaching them the rules that I would never get a game started. So Doug Roberts mentions that his family will not play games with him. That is an issue with the Madman as well. I know some of the members of my family, there are various different kinds of games. I mean, I can bust out some games with my mom, so long as they're not overly complex. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, my nephew Cameron is leaving for the Air National Guard for basic training on April 13th, and he will be gone for a while. So that is a big member of the gang who's leaving. And his girlfriend, Lexi, plays with us, and she's going to be moving to Minnesota or Michigan, one of the two, I forget, because that's where her mom lives. So it's like, oh, we're losing some members of the gang. Mm-hmm. So Robert Moffat popped in. Good to see you, Rob. Thanks for tuning in. So the question is this game shipping? Yes, it is. It is shipping now. So here's a tutorial. So this is a whole tutorial book for us here. So we'll take a look here. So we've got Old Chums, Outcomes, Saber Rattling. So it looks like these are little, not necessarily mini scenarios, but these look more like kind of like examples of different outcomes. So this is the kind of stuff that we would sometimes find in a playbook, which I say all the time. Always love the GMT playbooks. So, see, now I have to laugh because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, so weren't they indicating that this is a complexity 5 on a 1 to 9? To me, this looks like this is more than just a like a middle ground complexity. Oh, Kabuki Kid says they just got a miniature market order today, and it's completely wrong. It's somebody else's order. Yikes. That kind of stinks. All right, just kind of zipping through. We've got quite a few different examples, quite a few different tutorials here. I swear, for a second, I thought that said bareback. I was like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, breakback. It's like, jeez. So we've got a few books in here, that's for sure. All right, here's our designer notes. Okay, we get an episode index. Cool. So a grade A mentions that they noticed pricing went up on things after there was a bill passed in Congress. So a grade A says miniature market's making a lot of money off of everybody's stimulus. Hey, people are out there. They're stimulating the economy. I'll be the first to point out, I have not spent any of my stimulus money. So held on to it. Yeah, you never know. There's nothing I really needed to get done. All right, so here we have the advanced battle rules. So it looks like we've got some additional rules being added into the mix. So we have snafu, we have attitude, we've got gunnery, special effects, torpedo attacks. So wait, so torpedo attacks aren't in like the standard game? That's kind of interesting. Although, yeah, I guess that would make sense because really the Pacific Theater really had a way more torpedo attacks with ships and stuff like that. So Gary says, yes, Atlantic Chase does look a little more complicated than a 5 out of 9. Yeah, it certainly does. All right, so look at this. We've still got this book and another book. So here are the solitaire scenarios. But that other book is 2-player scenarios, so that's pretty cool. So we got an introduction. So we got an example of some terminology as well. We got different scenarios. Raiders of the North Atlantic. There we go. So does that mean we got the Bismarck floating around out there? Oh no, it's the Graf Spee. Yep. I was gonna say, is it the Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst, and the Bismarck out there causing trouble? Contain and destroy. Another Raiders of the North Sea. Okay, so this is Gneisenau, Scharnhorst, and the Hipper. The Admiral Hipper. Nice. So these are historical scenarios so far, so I like that. That's pretty cool. So we've got some, it looks like this is the Norwegian Sea. So, okay, so that's saying the German player for these solitaire games. Better late than never. There you go, British. So you'll have an opportunity to play both combatants. So that's nice. So Kabuki Kid says they need a new laptop. So they might be buying one of those. So Grade A says they've been watching a couple of items that were lower in price around the holidays, but couldn't get them. Then they went higher after the new year. They were waiting for a price drop. Yeah, interestingly enough, a lot of people have asked me about that, like the $15 minimum wage. And I am all for people, not having to work 100 jobs. To me, that's a load of crap. But I had pointed out, if suddenly your minimum wage is $15, then you're going to have people who are making $20 an hour right now saying, well, wait a second, you better be paying me way more. And we would just see prices escalate because, come on, you know how these companies are and landlords and things like that. Feel like, yes, I agree. $7.25 is way, way too low. I am right with you, Kabuki Kid. But there's other things we can be doing too. And I completely believe that, yes, minimum wage needs to be increased quite a lot. But the way I look at it is, if you're familiar with Seattle, the city of Seattle, what happened when they passed their minimum wage increase is the prices of everything skyrocketed. The prices, well, Seattle's always been expensive to live in, but because I have friends out there and they were just going bananas. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. So we've got the last battle. Trying to see who we got in here. Looks like a lot of cruisers in the task force, German forces. The Tirpitz. Actually, the Tirpitz actually makes it out to sea, huh? Interesting. All right, and then we get some historical notes. So these are the solitaire player scenarios. Make sure that book doesn't go flying off someplace. So Grade A says, how about minimum wage versus cost and health benefits to workers? Yeah, I know. That is a major issue. That, in my opinion, that's something that really needs to be addressed. But hey, we're here to talk games, everybody. Just because I did a review of Buy the Vote doesn't mean we're talking politics here, folks. All right. So these are the multiplayer. These are the 2-player scenarios. I have to say, and yes, as I mentioned before, this seems to be more than complexity 5. But these books are just overflowing with images. And this has got to be graphically probably the most impressive GMT book I have seen in quite a while. I mean, I don't recall ever seeing this much as far as images and examples of play and things like that. Very, very cool. And I also want to point out these books, the paper is really nice and thick. It's treated a little bit as well. So very nice. And remember, this is not $100 game. This is a $69 game. So very, very cool. So Melwinius from York says, and bought. Thanks, Jeff. I'm not sure if Melwinius is saying that they're buying this game. Maybe they're talking about something else that I did one of my award-winning reviews of. Ooh, Arctic Calamity. Nice. So we get some mini scenarios. Okay, so these mini scenarios must be, this is where we get like this battle board. So Gary says they're glad the solo book had scenarios for both sides. I agree. Unless you're doing something where it's, well, like we were talking about Malta Besieged from Worthington that's up on Kickstarter. Yeah, it's a solitaire game, and yes, you are defending Malta. I get it. That's cool. I'm fine with that. I don't care about not being able to play the Axis. So what? But a game like this, where you have all these various different scenarios, over what, like a 3-year period. Yeah, I'm glad to see that we get both combatants here. All right. So here's some campaign tables. So we got the campaign game as well. So Great A says it reminds him of the rulebook for Enemy Coast Ahead. It's been so long since I played Enemy Coast Ahead. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good game. Too much of the prep stuff, though. All right, so here we go. Here are all of these wooden pieces. Let's take a look at this first. So we have the British, and they have little lines on them. Then we have blacks. I guess those are spares. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the British. We've got that as well. And we've got some cylinders in here too. But for the most part, it's kind of funny. They almost remind me of like fat matchsticks. So, but the nice thing is we don't have to sit here and put stickers on anything. So that's a bonus. So we have some that have 1 line. We have some that have 3 lines. We've got some that have 2 lines. So I'm taking a stab in the dark that the lines might represent the class of ship. So might be like, the 1 line are the battleships, the battle cruisers, or maybe the 3s are that. So we will find out. We also have some dice as well. So we've got 2 blue, 2 red. So we got that. Then we got the black spares. I don't know what that would be a spare for, because they're the only black ones. So I'm not sure how those are spares. Okay, so we've got all of that. I will save the counter sheet for last because I will zoom in on that. Okay, so here we've got the board. I'll put the board over there for a second. Looks like it's a pretty good size board as well. So this is the Norwegian Sea. So as we know, we've got some like sort of mini, kind of little mini maps here. So we got the North Sea there. And then we have the Norwegian Sea here. I guess you're supposed to line it up like so. So that's kind of cool. So I think these are for the smaller, the little scenarios that we had. All right, so then we've got a German force pool schedule. This is no doubt for, yep, right there, the campaign game. That's what I was just about to say. And then we have the campaign player aid for the German player, which, amazingly enough, I know it is on their naval ensign, but there's a swastika on this. So, very interesting. Because most game companies won't go there. They just will not go there. So Doug Roberts says maybe the black represents sunken ships. That's a possibility. That might be it. So we got the British Force Pool schedule here, and then we've got their campaign player aid. I'm taking a guess as far as the campaign, you have to have 2 players. I don't imagine there being a campaign game for just a solitaire player. So we have the German Task Force display, which we already had seen a lot of images showing us this with the ships in that. So I figured it was only going to be one side. All right, Casey Board Gamers is calling it a night. Thanks for popping in, Casey. We will see you next time. Here's the British Task Force display. So the white is the Germans. I thought it might be. And then we've got the British. And I believe these are the Norwegians. Or no, were these, maybe these are Canadians. I don't know. All right, so now we get a player aid for the advanced battle rules. Special effects, lingering effects. All right, come on. Let's get in a shadow here that I do not want. There we go. That's a little bit better. Snafu check. Yes, situation normal. All. Okay, so we have the player aid. Well, we got a couple of these. Yes, we do. So I have common results, interruption results, misspelled interruption. Initiative results. Oh, that's kind of cool. The action menu. The way this breaks out, I'll pull it down because I'm kind of blocking that with my noggin. And we've got the player aid continues on. Now, you know what? Let's see something here. This came, there we go, Atlantic Chase. Because I knew I had a sheet that came in the box with both Atlantic Chase and Dominant Species Marine. And I didn't glance to see, I saw it was an errata sheet, but I didn't glance to see for which one was it. It is for Atlantic Chase. And I do believe they actually mentioned stuff being, yep, right there. We have interruption misspelled. In fact, they've got it misspelled a few different times. Yeah, these things happen. These things happen. We've had discussions before. I'm not going to get into it again tonight. But some of the challenges that GMT has as far as the developers for games, like most companies would assign a developer. Most big game companies would assign a developer to a game. GMT doesn't normally do that. So that's why sometimes we'll see things get released from GMT that needed to be cooked a little bit longer. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen from time to time. All right, so here we've got the board, and this board looks like it's going to be, this is going to be a good size board. So let's see how we can try to share as much of this as we can see. All right. And we've got we've got tables facing 2 different directions too. Okay, so this looks like this is just the North Atlantic here. But this is where it looks like we've got like that battle board here, where it's far, near, close. We've got different rounds here. We have campaign game operations. Yes, this is an 8-panel board, double K. All right, so then we've got some tables down here. So we've got torpedo attack, gunnery table, breakaway, stealth attack, naval search, engage, airstrike, engage. We have a time lapse. That's kind of interesting. Interruption, correctly spelled. So, all right. So then on this side, let's swing this around. Hopefully everything is staying in focus here. Hopefully, because I'm moving things around, it hasn't like come out of focus. So here we have keel. Looks like we have different ports here. And then we actually have more charts over here. So I'm wondering, of course, I'm taking a guess that it's basically you're looking at if you're playing two players. So if you're playing two players, I'm going to take a guess that the British player is going to be on this side of the board, and then the Kriegsmarine player would be on this side of the board, or depending on which combatant you're playing will determine which way you're going to face the board, because there are some of the same tables here that were on the other side. In fact, they all look the same. So time lapse, we got that over there. Naval search, engage, airstrike. And of course, very, very thick. Very nice. That's cool. I like that. All right. So lastly, we're going to look at these counters. So we've got a punch board and a half. So we got a 1.5 counter sheets. So let's zoom in and take a peek. Unfortunately, they are silhouettes. That is disappointing. I mean, it's not a killer, but I find that a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen overhead shots. Kind of, once again, we were talking about the Great War at Sea series, and boy, those counters were awesome. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So at least we do have the silhouettes, and the silhouettes are correct. I can tell here, taking a look at the silhouettes for like the Bismarck, the Scharnhorst, the Gneisenau, the Bremen, and dual-sided. Yep. So it looks like this is the damage side for these ships as well. Got some intel markers, some evasive maneuvering counters. It looks like a lot of this stuff is, about half of this is informational. So we have some more. We've got some cruisers. Yeah, we don't go any lower than cruisers. So unless there's maybe destroyer flotilla counters or something, but I don't really see anything. So there we go. And once again, flip that on over. Nice. This game does look very impressive. It really, really does. I'm a little taken aback by all the books because I'm like, wow, holy cow. But once again, the font is very large. The print is very large in the book. So there's that. And I mean, there's so many images in that. You know what we'll do? I'm going to put this in here. Yes, I know. I should put it back in the plastic bag. I will. Just not this moment. Hang on. Let's try to get these laying down right here, so that they're not sticking up over the insert. So it's kind of funny. We were talking about inserts for GMT yesterday, and this is like the most plain insert I've seen in a while from them. So Melvinia says the Armageddon GMT token is there also. All right, so we've got the counter sheets. We've got the 2-player aids for just the standard game. We've got the force schedules for the Germans and the British. Got the campaign player aid. We've got the task force displays. I am actually going to slip this errata sheet in here as well. We have the little mini maps. And then we've got loads of books. We got the 2-player scenario book. We got the solitaire scenario book. We've got the advanced battle rules. We've got the tutorial book, as well as the rule book. And that is everything that we find when we take all those goodies outside the box of Atlantic Chase. which is from GMT Games. So Flaming Aaron says, don't go losing that errata sheet. Oh, I'm sure I could print it off someplace. Once again, this is available right now. It is designed by Jeremy White. The game is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in 30 minutes to 3 hours for just actually, I think it said it's an hour, right? Yes, 1 to 3 hours for the scenarios and 4 to 12 hours for the campaigns. This does carry an MSRP of $69. One thing I always point out about GMT titles is they don't have huge print runs. So if you have any interest in picking up Atlantic Chase, and once again, this is a heavy box. You saw this thing is packed. But if you have any interest in picking this up, I definitely recommend sooner is better than later. Most definitely. All right. So once again, let's see what we got cooking here. Melwinius is saying thanks, waiting for the game to arrive. Robert's saying thanks for the peek. Of course, sure thing. Once again, do want to mention that tomorrow you will see my review of Funfair from Good Games Publishing. Also later on tonight, my By the Vote review will be up. On tomorrow's show, we're going to take a peek at the Starfinder Alien Archives 4 from Paizo Inc. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as my upcoming review of Funfair, it'll also let you know when my live stream that you're watching right now, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. Those of you who hung out watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate people kicking back with me in chat. Yeah, taking time out of your busy lives to hang out with this knucklehead. Very cool. Lee Richard has said hello as I wrap up the show. Welcome aboard, Lee. We're just wrapping up. Anyway, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch whenever you do, even if you're watching on Memorex. Of course, I will be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. Yes, my week only goes Monday through Thursday. And once again, we are going to be taking a look at Alien Archive 4. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night, Thursday morning, or whatever day it happens to be that you're watching this. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, certainly hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching. And everybody, please wear a mask.